When you're playing multiple choice games and you're playing games that have different endings, for the most part, you have a good ending, a bad ending, and then you have something kind of in the middle. So you usually have about three endings. You look at Cyberpunk, you look at The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, you look at Detroit Become Human, I believe. There's so many different games with just different endings, and some of those endings feel like you failed. It feels like you did something good, or it feels whatever consequence is trying to give you, you really feel it. And I think the one that I'll compare it to the most really quickly is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and how I felt by being with Yennefer, by saving Ciri, and my Ciri becoming a Witcher. It was like the best thing in the world. It was the most happy I had been playing video games, and I thought that I did wonderful by getting that ending. However, there is other endings where, Ciri dies, or Geralt ends up alone, or Geralt goes back to fight the sisters, and it looks like he's going there to die. So those endings are fucking brutal, dark, not... they will make you feel bad. They'll make you feel like shit. And then you have an ending like the one in Dispatch. Now, one of the endings for Dispatch is being happy with Blonde Blazer, saving Invisigal, and beating Shroud. That's a great ending, right? Then you have the other ending where you are with Invisigal, you befriend Blonde Blazer, and you defeat Shroud. Another good ending for people. And then you have the bad ending, which would be basically Invisigal killing Shroud and embracing villainy. So you are, I guess, supposed to feel like a failure for not being able to help Invisigal. And that's the ending that would be considered bad, because Invisigal is lost to the villain life. She murders Shroud and then she leaves. And you celebrate and you do everything without her. She's gone. And that would be considered the bad ending for the game. But the more that I thought about it and the more that I looked at it, I don't know that it really is that bad. And I'll come from the sense of I personally didn't feel like it was such a bad ending. I personally didn't feel like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened. I'm heartbroken. I really was more like, what the fuck? What do you mean she embraced villainy? Like, I couldn't believe that she did that. I was more shocked than anything because I felt that I made all the right choices. Now, I know what some of you guys are going to say. Well, you probably didn't level her up. You probably didn't do this or that. I tried to save her. We went through this. I'm not going to rehash old shit. I tried to do everything right. Now, I've come to the conclusion that I may not have leveled her up as much as I should have. I've come to the conclusion that I didn't use her as much as maybe I should have. But to be quite honest, in my dispatch, I tried to use every character that I had at my disposal, and I tried to pick the best one for the situation that I thought would work. That's the truth of it. I wasn't neglecting her or anything. She just ended up, I don't know, needing more fucking help than I thought. So I started thinking about people online saying, well, you got the bad ending, you had the bad ending. And I've just kind of refute that. I don't know that is necessarily the bad ending. And I don't think that you should feel bad for failing Invisigal. I don't think you should feel bad for not being able to help her, because some people don't want to be helped. Some people can't be helped. And this dives into a bigger, deeper issue. We're not going to go too deep into that, but I started thinking, like, you sometimes can make all the right choices. You sometimes can help somebody to the best of your ability. Your intentions can be good, and yet that person, for whatever reason, still decides to do bad. Sometimes you give a person that you love or care for the opportunity to make the right choices. You present two choices to them, and then you're like, here, these are the choices that you have. You give them advice. You don't tell them where to choose, and then you hope that they make the right decision. They end up going the wrong way. They end up making the bad decision. And that hurts, and it's tough to see. And the reason that I say this is because with my Invisigal, I cared for her. I was nice to her. I helped her. I encouraged her. I set her free. I accepted her help. I forgave her for what she did to me. I did all of the good stuff, and my conscience was clear. My conscience was never like, oh, I should have done this, or I feel bad because of that. I didn't even kick her out of the Z team. I was there for her. I was there to help her. And then she even comes back to the fold to help the Z team fight Shroud. She's teaming up with Blonde Blazer. She's teaming up with the rest of the Z team members. She's helping Malevola. Everything seems to be going good until the very end of the game, where she appears right next to Shroud, stabs him in the neck, and embraces the villainy. But even when she did that, she looked at the mask and then she threw the astral pulse to Robert and left. To me, it felt like Invisigal had made her decision. To me, it felt like Invisigal, that was the life. That it was her choices. Even after all the help, even after everything that I did for her, she just felt like it wasn't enough. She just felt like she needed to do what she did. Maybe she felt hurt, embarrassed, betrayed by Shroud. Maybe she felt disgusted by her choices. Maybe she felt guilty for what she did to Robert. Maybe she felt bad being exposed in front of everybody. Who knows what happened? But throughout the story, you try to help her. And again, some of you guys succeeded, so this doesn't really mean anything to you. You guys did the right thing. You don't even know what the hell I mean. But I'm talking to those of us who failed Invisigal, which honestly, I think if you were mean and rude and you really didn't really care for her and you made your choices deliberate, you might not really give a shit. But some of us, even though we made the right choices and we felt that we did and we still took care of her and we still put our reputation on the line for her, tried to protect her, she still decides to go the path of villainy. It was a really difficult thing. It was a really shocking thing more than anything. It was like a punch in the gut. And so when I look at my story and I look at my time in Dispatch, I know this might sound stupid because we all have multiple endings and there's no real canon ending, but to me, that ending felt like the best ending. It felt bittersweet and realistic because you have Robert who... All right, guys, I want to take a quick break from the Dispatch, and I just want to say thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for supporting me, and I want to ask that you please consider hitting the subscribe button. If you love what I do here, gaming discussion, gaming news, gaming lore, story deep dives, Call of Duty, Dispatch, all that stuff, if you really enjoy it and you haven't subscribed yet, please, again, I would ask that you consider to subscribe because we have a goal to hit 30,000 subscribers before we bring in the new year. That gives us a little short window to try to hit that, and it's going to be very, very difficult, but I know with your help we can get there, and it would mean a lot to me. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and get back to Dispatch. He's dealing with his own things. He's kind of depressed. He's trying to find a new purpose in life, and we're thinking so much about helping Invisigal, and the conversation is about Invisigal and about Blonde Blazer, that we forget sometimes the true story of what Dispatch was supposed to be. A fallen hero who lost his purpose, trying to rehabilitate the villains and turn them into good superheroes, turn them into heroes, help them grow. That was your job. You were supposed to be a mentor. And throughout the story, even if you fail Invisigal, Robert still succeeded in helping the Z-Team members. Even if you failed to save or stop Sonar or Coop, you still rehabilitated the other Z-Team members. You still grabbed Phenomenon and took him in. You still got him out of his depressive state. You still went and got Waterboy and turned him into a hero. You gave him the opportunity to be more than just the janitor, more than just the cleaning guy. You were able to help Flambe grow as a person. You were able to help him accept that he could be a hero. You understand? There was a lot of things that you as Robert did to still improve those around you. Robert, in this scenario of failing Invisigal, was able to help the Z-Team members, help them grow, help them become heroes, help Chase, help Blonde Blazer, help everybody, help the SDN get their ratings up, get their reputation up, even though he still failed Invisigal, even though she still decided to choose the path of villainy, because no matter what Robert did, if you made the right choices and tried to help her and she still went the path of villainy, then it shows that Robert sometimes can't get everything. It shows him the realities of life. As much as you may love somebody, as much as you may care for somebody, as much as you may want to help, and you do everything in your power to help, you fail. I think that ending of Dispatch is so good and bittersweet. Going the route of, and I know this is personal preference, and I know some of you guys might say you're fucking stupid, bro, because my ending is the best. But again, this is my opinion. This is what I feel. Going the path of Blonde Blazer, loving her, being with her, and trying your best to help Invisigal, being a friend for her, and she still decides to go the path of villainy and leave, feels like the best ending to me. I don't know that at first I thought, no, I wish I could have saved her, this and that, but it feels kind of in line with her character throughout the whole game. It's a push and a tug, or a pull and a tug. I don't know what the fuck the phrase may be, but you are trying to help Invisigal, and she's like, no, and no and no, and it's a fight. It's a constant fight. It's never like, oh, we're meeting eye to eye, we're being together, I understand. She was always kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of situation. And so I think an ending where you did your best as a mentor, your best as a hero, your best as a friend, and failing just shows the realities of it. It shows, Robert, that you can't always succeed no matter how hard you try. And I don't know, I guess the more that I thought about it, the more I thought, hey, this is a really interesting ending. It's a very layered ending. I mean, it gives you a lot to think about. It's not just a big happy ending where everybody made it and everybody is friends and everything is fun. Because sometimes in life that really doesn't happen. I mean, very rarely do you get a very happy ending. And so I was thinking about that. And I also saw some people on Twitter really going heavy and fighting hard for their canon ending. I mean, I saw this one guy, and I don't remember the name or anything. I don't even have the screenshots, but he said the best endings of Dispatch. And it said the canon ending, romancing Invisigal, befriending Blonde Blazer. And then he had the bad worst ending, and it was dating Blonde Blazer and Invisigal killing Shroud and embracing villainy. And I thought to myself, what? That's the worst terrible ending. If you get that ending, the game was ruined for you. Like, if you get that ending, you have to start the game over and replay the whole thing so you can get the good ending. No. Now, if I were in The Witcher, if I would have gotten the ending where Ciri dies and I go back to try to kill the sisters and Geralt kind of goes to, die in that fight, that would have given me a reason to go back and try to replay the game and do the right choice. It's got to be like, hell no, I cannot end it like this. There's no way this is my ending. But I never felt that way with Dispatch. I never once felt, I need to go back and redo it. I mean, I thought that I should do it. I for some reason, I felt this pressure of like, I should try to rescue her. I should try to do something right. Let me go back and try to fix this. But the more that I sat on it, the more that I thought on it, I don't think so, man. I really like the ending that I got. I think it's not an ending that tells me, I have to go back and redo it. Oh, this is so bad. Honestly, I don't think so. I think all the endings are very balanced. I think all the endings are very good. And I think any ending you got is a good ending for you, no problem. But this notion that you're a failure, or this notion that you got the worst possible ending because Invisigal decided to choose villainy, I don't believe that, because it's out of our control. And I know what you're going to say. No, it's not. If you do this right, you make yada yada. But what I'm saying is, one final time, I know I made all the right choices and I tried to be there for her, and she still chose the villain path. It just really goes to show that no matter what you do, no matter how much you try to help somebody, sometimes you cannot. Sometimes they make their own choices, and that's something really cool about the game. These characters make their own choices. These characters have their own lives. These characters have their own beliefs. Even when Blonde Blazer wanted to leave the dispatch center to go help and fight against Shroud in the city, if you tell her as Robert, no, don't go, she says that she is gonna go. She makes her own fucking decisions. You tried to help Vizzy and you tried to be there for her. She said, nah, I'm gonna embrace this villainy. So it happens. And I want to really touch on that today because it had been eating at me for the last few days. I had been thinking about it heavily. So let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think you're a failure if you failed Invisigal? Do you think your whole journey as a dispatcher was worthless and pointless if you didn't allow her to become a hero, if she decided to be a villain? Do you feel like a failure? Because I personally don't. I feel like she made her own choice and we move on. As hard as that may sound, or as tough as it may be, you still care for that person, but she chose her path. She decided to go that route. I didn't force her there. I didn't push her towards it. It just felt like she needed a lot of babying. It felt like she needed a lot of, come on, you can do it. And I understand needing that sometimes. We all need that shit. But sometimes you give and the person never realizes it. And that person still decides to do her own thing. That's the ending I got. It's bittersweet. It's not maybe the perfect ending, but it's a good ending to me.